everyone. Welcome to today's session with the fantastic Deborah Azebedo. Reminder, we go to the housekeeping. Today is job search and preparation. Today we have Deborah Azebedo. A reminder to mute your microphone and keep it muted all throughout the session. All your questions can be just typed in the chat and we will take them today as they come. Deborah prefers to take them as they come, so please feel free to send them out as soon as you think of them, and we will take them as they come. I will be monitoring the chat for any troubleshooting errors or anything you need from us in the setup team, but a reminder also to be respectful to everyone else's, and we are recording the session for anyone that's not able to join live. So a little bit about our speaker today. We have Deborah is a lifelong learner and her mission is to help people learn. She fulfills this purpose daily, both in her job as a learning and development professional and as a mentor for dozens of immigrants in Canada. Formerly a university professor, Deborah built a new career in Canada, working in retail, focusing on process improvement and training. She identifies as an autistic person, and her passions include languages, cats, and ancient civilizations. So take it up, Deborah, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to speak for Hispanotech. I think it's a great program. It's a lovely initiative, and I feel very glad that I have this opportunity to speak with all of you today. So let's talk about job search. And I don't use PPTs. I hate them because I think that they make people dumb. You stop paying attention because you think that you can just read a couple of phrases on the screen and then you are moving along. So don't do that. Let's not do that. But I will ask something. I will ask everybody that feels comfortable to open your cameras. Because if I can see you, I can better relate with you. If I'm just looking at myself at the screen, I don't know what's going on. So if you want to help me have this as a more interactive, more engaging presentation, please come to camera. Wherever you are, I don't mind about that. I would just love to see a few of your faces, a few of your expressions, and then you help me to know how you are reacting to what I'm saying. Okay, so let's start because we have a lot to cover, not much time. So, job search and preparation for the job search. What did I do? I prepared 12 points to share with you all. I could speak about this for hours and hours and hours. Citlali knows me enough to know that when I say hours and hours and hours, that's not an expression. That's true. I can talk for hours, but I will talk with you about 12 steps or 12 points that I think are very valuable. And none of them is to look for jobs at Indeed or LinkedIn, because that is not what works when we are searching for a job. So stay tuned to know how to do real job search that will land you the job you want in Canada. Okay, let's start. Point 1. The first thing that you need is to find out what you want to do. And pay attention to this. This is the most important point. If you forget everything else that I say tonight, don't forget about this point. What you want to do. It's not what you can do. It's not what you could do. It's not what you are trained to do. It's what you want to do. And this is crucial. Think about this. As immigrants, we have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves. You already changed countries. So you are not tied to anything. You can do basically whatever you want. And that is important because you can find what you really want to do and go after that. It may take a little more, it may take a little while to get exactly what you want, but you have the opportunity right now. So don't waste that opportunity. Don't go to a career because you think, oh, that will be the easiest path for me. And then in 5 or 10 years, you'll be regretful of that decision. So if you are in the position as an immigrant of choosing a career, choose the one that you really, really want. It's not a job title. It's what you really want to do. And you can think about stuff like, oh, I like to interact with people. I like to organize stuff. I like to solve problems. Think about that. They are your drivers. After you find out everything that you really like to do and you think that you do really well, then you think about what are the job titles that allow me to do these things that I really like to do. That's it. In my case, I will use myself as an example. I have 2 things that I love doing. The first one, I love to help people to learn. Love it, love it, love it, love. The second thing that I love is to tell people what to do or to give tips or advice. I like to meddle in people's business. So I started doing mentoring because that's exactly what you are expected to do when you mentor. You give people tips on what to do or where to go. So there's many ways that we can find the joy in what we do. And my first point to you is find what you really want to do. Find what you really feel joy doing, because that is important and that is an opportunity. So take that opportunity. That's point 1. Not easy. If you feel like, oh, that's easier said than done, Deborah, yes, it is. It may take a while. It may take months. Some people take months and months to discover what they really want to do. But let me assure you, that's worth it. If you really go for that, that will change your life. For real. For real. Some people are scared of doing that. You feel like, oh my God, but what if I cannot, if people don't take me and I don't succeed? So understand your fear and do it anyways. That's the most important thing that you can do for your professional life. Point 2. Point 2 is discover in which industries or types of company you can do that thing that you want to do. So is it in just one industry? You can do it in different industries. What are the possible job titles? What are the possible places that you can do whatever you like to do or whatever you want to do? This requires some digging. You have to investigate because it may be in many different places. When I first arrived in Canada, I never imagined myself working in retail. Completely outside of my initial plans. And I ended up working in retail because my goal was not working in industry X, Y, or Z. It was working with learning and development. So I started to explore all places where I could work with learning and development. And I had one key driver to me that was, okay, how many people I can impact? The more people I can impact, the better. So that's how I end up in retail, because there's a tons of people. So discover that, discover which industries, maybe one that you never thought about could be your new area, your new place to work. Third point is lifestyle assessment. And this one is a tricky one, so I will speak a little bit more about this. When we are changing careers or when we are choosing what kind of job we want, we cannot forget about the lifestyle that comes with each type of job. For example, would you like a remote job? or a hybrid job or an in-person? Would you like a job where you don't have to work weekends or you don't mind working weekends? Do you mind longer hours or you don't mind longer hours? Do you like a very crazy, fast-paced environment or you prefer a calmer environment? Do you like a lot of rules and compliance or you hate that, you want something that is ongoing all the time? All those questions, do you want something that is close to you and you don't have to spend much time commuting, or you want something that you don't mind commuting an hour and a half a day? Are you eager to move to another part of Canada? All those questions are under this umbrella that is called lifestyle assessment. Do you want a place where you have the possibility to grow? Or if you get the job that you really want, you don't mind staying in that job for 5 years or 10 years? You need to answer those questions honestly. That is very important, because that will define what type of companies you will be researching or looking for. So think about your lifestyle assessment and really evaluate it and be honest with yourself. I have many times I saw people that tell me, oh, I want to work for a big consulting company. That's my dream. I want to work for McKinsey or Bain or Price Waterhouse. And I tell them, okay, so are you okay with working 60 to 80 hours a week and traveling 50% of your time or more? Are you okay with that? And people like, no, I don't know. Yeah, so you didn't do your lifestyle assessment, because those companies, that's what they ask. They ask that kind of commitment. Yes, the pay is great. Yes, you have a lot of opportunities. Yes, that looks very well in your resume later on, but there is a price to pay. Are you willing to pay that price or not? There is differences for working in big companies and small companies. So you need your lifestyle assessment to know exactly what are you going for. What type of company, what type of job? You need that. You absolutely need that. Different industries will have different expectations. You like places that have a lot of technology or places that are a little bit more old school. That changes a lot depending on the industry that you are. If you are a very tech-savvy person and you want a very forward environment, never go to work at automotive industry, because automotive industry, it's very traditional. Even if they are building electric vehicles, the industry in general is very traditional. So you need to do that kind of reflection and assessment before you start your job search. You see that so far I'm talking, we already covered the first 3 points, and I didn't say anything about where you are going. I'm talking about things that you have to do by yourself. And the biggest part of the job search is not searching for a job, it's finding out what type of job you'll be searching for. So first 3 points, nothing to do with the job, all to do with you. We're moving now to the 4th point. And the 4th point is find the name of the job. Remember that at the beginning I told you that we need to find what you want to do, not what you can do. So that thing that you want to do may have different names in different companies. We need to explore that. We need to understand that. How do you do that? You do research. So you have to research people, companies. You have to learn how to call the job that you want. I'll give you an example from myself. When I started looking for jobs in this area that I work nowadays, that is learning and development, I was looking for jobs as training. And training is a completely different thing. Training here in Canada means you are a facilitator. You give training. I wanted to prepare training. I wanted to prepare content. And I didn't know, I never heard about learning and development as the name of a role. I discovered that after starting digging around for what kind of jobs there are in companies that do the things that I want to do. So you need to do that. You need to figure out what are the very different names for the things that you want. And one caution note here, even if you have one name in different companies, that same name may mean very different things. And I will use business analyst as an example. In one company, a business analyst may be someone that is IT. It's the person doing requirement gatherings for IT projects. In another company, a business analyst may be someone that is crunching the numbers, is doing data. And in another company, business analyst may be someone preparing business plans for the strategy. So the name business analyst, if you just go for the name, you can be going for very, very different jobs that have very different capabilities, experiences, and even goals for you to reach. So don't get stuck with just one name. You need to understand that different companies, the name of the thing you want to do may have different names. And once you find a name, doesn't mean that in every company that will be the right name. You need to understand how different companies call the thing you want to do by different names. So find the name of the job is point number 4, if you are counting with me. Let's move to point number 5. Point number 5 is to establish a strategy. And now I need to pause to explain this. So you are here today. You want to get here. Sometimes it's just one step. You can apply directly to that job and that's it. Sometimes you need to make a plan to get there. And I will give you different examples to help make this more, more comprehensible or more clear to you. So let's start with someone that could apply for the job right away. I was mentoring someone that wanted to move from IT to communications. And he wanted a role as product manager in communications. And he used to be a product manager in IT. Not much difference, a little difference in industry, but it was close enough that he could just do the change in industry and go for that role. No need to do, a big plan with many different steps. Now I'll give you another example. Another person, mentee, he had experience working in another country as quality analyst for maintenance in planes. Very, very, very specific job, right? Doing quality analysis for maintenance in planes. Very specific. In Canada, he did a bunch of work as customer service, person in different industries. And he had been, at that point, he had been in Canada for 2.5 years, 3 years, I think. And he wanted to circle back for his old job. You can't just apply for that because you will never get that job. After having experience in Canada for 2 or 3 years as customer service, he would never get the quality analyst for maintenance in planes as a first application. So he needed a strategy, he needed steps. What was the strategy that we put together? Find a customer service job in a company that has planes. So we found companies, and one of the companies was Porter Airlines. Porter is the aviation company that flies from Toronto, the Toronto Island. And he applied for a customer service position there. A year and a half later, he was working as, guess, quality analyst for maintenance in the airplanes for Porter. And now he has a supervision position in quality analysis for airplanes at Porter. This story started, I would say, 4 years ago, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but that is the thing. So he's even better than he was in his original position in his home country because he developed this strategy. So even if what you want looks a little bit far away, you can get there. You need the right strategy. You need to think about the steps to get exactly where you want. You don't have to give up your dream, even if it looks like a little bit too far away for you right now. Does it make sense? Yeah, okay, I'm seeing a few heads going up and down. So thank you for those that are with their cameras open. You help me a lot when you do, yeah. So that's it, that's your strategy. So you may have a long road, you may have a short road. You need to understand what would be your stepping stones to get exactly where you want. Deborah, maybe my plan will have to change over time. Yes, maybe your plan will have to change, but if you start with a plan, you at least know in which direction you are going. And you know that it's not in 4 months or 6 months that you get there. If the plan is longer, if the distance between where you are and where you want to be, it's great. You can give yourself a couple of years. That's not a problem because you have that plan. So you can accompany and you can look at yourself and say, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. I'm not stagnant. I'm doing the steps that I need to get there. And that helps a lot because when we are job searching, many times we feel lost, we feel alone, we feel frustrated. That's very common. So if you ever felt like that during job search, make sure that you are not alone on that. Everybody that is searching for a job feels like that. We feel sometimes, I remember that at one point I felt like, okay, nobody wants me. I'll never work again in my life because nobody gives me an opportunity. Nobody invites me for an interview. That's it. I'm over 50. Nobody will hire me anymore. I don't have Canadian experience. I'm over 50. I'm overqualified because I have a PhD. So who would hire me? And that kind of feeling is very, very, very common. So if you feel that any day of your life, know that you are not alone and know that that feeling is not true. You are just learning a new game. You were used to play something that you called football, and now you discover that that game here is not called football anymore, it's soccer, and there is another game completely different that is called football, and you have to play football now. So you have to stop kicking the ball, you have to hold the ball with your hands, and there are crazy rules and a lot of players in the field, and oh my God, I will never understand this. Yes, you will. So give yourself the time, be patient, follow the steps, and you'll get there. That is just just a little message for you to don't feel discouraged, but that's it. You need a strategy. So that was point 5. Now I'm moving to point 6. And point 6 is make sure your brand is aligned to what you want to do. What I mean by that, if you are saying, okay, I am a product manager for tech companies. From the moment that you decide that that is what you want to do, you have to present yourself in a consistent manner everywhere people see you. So your LinkedIn profile, your CV, every time you meet someone new, every time someone asks you, oh, nice to meet you, who are you? You will present yourself in exactly the same way. I'm a project manager in tech. And you have to repeat that to exhaustion because you are not an immigrant. Your presentation will never be, oh, I'm Deborah. I came to Canada 7 years ago, and now I'm working in retail. And it was hard at the beginning, but I finally found a job that I like. That is not your presentation. Your presentation is, hi, I'm Deborah. I'm a learning and development professional that is working in retail, and I love helping people to learn. My motto is learning is my passion, helping others to learn is my mission. That is the kind of presentation that you need. You need a presentation that speaks to the role that you want. So if you want to be a project manager, you will say, I'm a project manager. If you want to be a designer, you'll say, I am a designer. If you want to be a developer, you'll say, I'm a developer. And whatever it is that you want to be, you'll say that you are, because that's what people want to know. Doesn't matter if you're not in that job yet, but that's who you know. That's how you will present yourself. So make sure that your brand is aligned everywhere. You have to say that on LinkedIn. Oh, but that's not the name of my job right now. Who cares? Nobody will look at your contract to know what is the name of your job. My job now has a completely different name. I don't have learning and development on my job title right now. And I still use learning and development because that's what I do. And that's what I want to keep doing. So brand, present yourself. How are you presenting yourself? And present yourself in a way that is aligned with that role that you want, even with the industry that you want. For example, what does your image at LinkedIn tells about you? Not only your photo, the banner image behind. Does it speak to the kind of job that you want to do? Is it aligned? For example, if you are on IT, you will not use some cute images like I have. I have cute images, drawings of people shopping in a supermarket because I am in retail. That would never work for someone on IT. Someone on IT will have things that are more, cool and techy. If you are working in DI, you will not use something that is very cold and techy. You will use something that is very approachable and personable. If you want to work with sustainability, you need an image that speaks to that. So all that is making your brand cohesive, making your brand aligned to who you are, what you want to do. And that is so important. People have to look at you and believe that you are that person. So fake it until you make it. You don't have to lie to anyone, but you have to behave as the person you want to be. I will pause for a minute and allow you to tell me, Deborah, you are crazy. That's bullshit. You can tell me that if you think that's the reality. And I will fight you because I learned that the hard way. I was one almost 8 years ago when I first arrived in Canada, I thought, no, you don't have to do anything like that. It's your experience that will talk for you. It's the things that you have to do, that you can do, that will talk for you. No, it's not. In this country, it's a different game. That's what I will tell you. It's a different game. And we need to understand that we are playing American football now, no longer football that we used to call football. And we need to adapt to the game. Okay, so 6 points done. We are in the middle of my list and we are in the middle of the time. I'm celebrating myself at this moment because I'm keeping track of time. Citlali is helping me to celebrate. Yes, I'm doing great. How does work brand when you are shifting? That's a great idea. That's a great question. So I will stop to answer that question. Your brand has to be aligned with what your differential for the thing that you are doing. And I will give one example of someone that shifted careers and had their brand on point. So this lady, she used to be manager in a store in a mall, store of women clothes, right? She was a manager there. She managed the store for, I don't remember now, but I would say 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years maybe. And she wanted to go to HR. She did a certificate in HR, but she was not getting any interviews. What did we do? Simple. We just went to look for her experience as a store manager and got from her experience as a store manager everything that was related to HR. So she would recruit people. She would select people. She would train people. She would assess performance. She would even discipline people. So she was doing everything related to HR as a store manager. She was not just telling the right story. She was using her profile on LinkedIn, talking about sales and stuff like that. If we're going to HR, that is not relevant. But everybody that she trained as a store manager, that is relevant. The fact that her turnover in the store was very low, that was relevant. So you have to think about how you tell your story, how you position your brand, even if you're shifting careers. And you have to look at everything that you did in the past with the lenses of the place where you want to go. And then you will talk about your accomplishments under those lenses, and you will brand yourself under those lenses. And that is an example that I love doing, is like, if you are going to project management, doesn't matter where you worked your life, or if you never worked, you have project management skills. You may not have PMI certification, but you have project management skills because everybody in life already managed a project. That could be moving to Canada. It's one big project that every single person in this call right now managed at some point. So it's a matter of how we retell our story based on what we want to do. I hope that answers the question about branding, but we can come back to that at the end of this meeting if you want to talk more about that. I would gladly. I just don't want to waste all my good work so far minding my time. So now that we know what we want to do, we know the name of the job we want, we had our lifestyle assessment, we know exactly what we are going for. Finally, it's time to start looking for jobs. So what is the first thing you do? The first thing you do, and it is our point number 7, is to select target companies. And target companies, I usually tell people, think about 10 to 20 companies. And it's not like, oh, I want a medium-sized company in Toronto. No. I'm talking list of names. You need a list of names of companies where you would like to work. How do you get that list? You need to do research. You need to spend a few hours sitting in front of a computer doing research on LinkedIn, on Glassdoor, websites of companies. You need to do your work. In that list that will have 10 to 20, you'll have your top 5 or top 3 companies that are the most desired ones, but you also have other good possibilities. Oh, Deborah, 20 is too much. I don't have 20 companies where I would like to work. Okay, 10 is enough. It's that when sometimes I tell 10, people tell me, oh, but if those companies don't open a position, I will never work. So 20 is like, okay, for those desperate that think that there will never be an opening, go with 20. But for most of the people, a list of 10 companies that are real aligned what you want to do and that had that kind of job that you are looking for, if you have a very good list that you really researched, that are aligned with your values, that you see yourself fitting with that with that company, you will for sure in 10 you'll have enough room. So that list goes to an Excel spreadsheet. You'll put the name of the company, where it is located, what are the job titles inside that company that would interest you. How do you figure that out? You go to LinkedIn and you research. So look at people that work at that company on LinkedIn. What are their job titles? How does the company call the jobs that you are looking for? Put the names of the titles there. And then you will put names of people that you'll try to connect with. How do you search for that? You'll first try to find someone with something in common with you. Maybe there are people inside that company that know someone that you also know. They are your secondary connections, right? You have your primary connections on LinkedIn, you have your secondary connections. So maybe Citlali knows someone that is interesting to me. I can ask her to introduce me to that person. That's the thing in common, Citlali. Maybe that person came from the same country that I came. So I have a point in common with that person and I can reach out and say, oh, I saw that you are from Brazil. I'm too. How long have you been here? And then you have an opening to talk with that person. Or you may have the same kind of experience or interests. The person is in the job that you would like to have. Oh, I saw that you are a product manager. I have been a product manager for many years now, but I transitioned to Canada. I'm trying to find my way here. So could you give me some tips? So find people that you can connect with, right? You'll have a list of those people and you can put for each person, you can put what is the hook, what is the thing that make you believe that you can connect with that person. We are not even talking about the connection now. We are just preparing the list. Preparing the list. You have to prepare that list. The more you work in preparing that list and having a very good list, the better you'll be at the end of the process. So it's worth it to spend some time there. One thing that you also do on that list is you'll use, I will put this on chat so you can copy if you want. You'll use Google to research for email addresses. So you will use this format: company, employee, email address format. For example, Walmart employee email address format. I talked about Porter before. Porter, employee, email address format. Rogers, employee, email address format. Whatever is the company. If it is not a very small company, it will give you one suggestion or even 2, 3 suggestions of how people on that company use their emails. And then with that, you put in your Excel spreadsheet, because that is a very good way to connect with someone. So again, doing the homework, doing the work that you need before you start connecting with people. Research about the company, read about the company. If you find something, for example, oh, I'm very aligned with the values of this company, or I really love the story of this company, I really like the product of this company, whatever it is that connects you with that company, it's a good sign, it's a good thing that you can talk with that company later on. It will give you an edge during a selection process, for example. I remember a few years ago, I was participating in a network event, and I was sitting on a table with someone from RBC, and I told them my story with RBC, the first day that I arrived in Canada, and how RBC was the only bank that allowed us to open a bank account before we came to Canada, etc., etc., etc. And when I finished my story, another person that was on that table told me, oh, if I worked on RBC, I would hire you right now, because you have something that many RBC associates don't have. That is, you have a relationship with the company, you have passion for the company. And I was very flattered. I didn't want to work at RBC, but that is the kind of thing that will set you apart. If you can find a connection with the company, the better. So look for that. Okay, so our Excel spreadsheet is now ready. We are ready to start connecting with people, right? Next thing that you'll do, you'll start writing emails. And your email should not, must not be too formal. Please don't be like, I'm reaching out to you to approach you regarding working at Walmart. I am very grateful for your time, and please, if you could, spare a few minutes to speak with me, I would be so thankful, or whatever is what you think that is very, very, very polite. That is unnatural. People don't have time to read that kind of email, and that sounds very bad. That sounds bad. So don't be too informal, like, hey, yo, what's going? No, that's not what I'm talking about, but be natural. So don't start with, Dear Mrs. Azevedo, I address you about a job at Walmart. No, you can say, hello, to that person. You don't have to be formal, and go to the point. So remember that we wrote about the hook. That was the reason why you were connecting that person. Now is your time to use the hook. You'll say, let's say you are writing to me. Hello, Deborah. I'm writing to you because I saw that we both studied as international students at York University, because I'm Brazilian as you are, or even, oh, I have a lot of interest in working in learning and management and learning and development, and I saw that you do that at Walmart. I love retail. So use your first phrase to explain why you are connecting with that person. And after that, ask your question. Like, I would like to know more about how to transition to work in retail. I will use, again, myself as an example. I was in banking before I came to retail. So I could write to myself, oh, I am also transitioning from banking to retail. I would like to hear about how you did that transition. Or I would like to hear about how it was for you to find employment after immigrating to Canada. Or I would like to hear more about how is it to work for Walmart? Is it as amazing as people talk about? So if you could give me your insights. So first phrase, why you are connecting. Second phrase, what you are asking. And then you go to the punchline. Would you be able to connect with me for 15 minutes, 20 minutes over a coffee chat? And that's it. You'll say thank you, and you'll say sign your name, and that's the end of your email. And your email will be this big, not this big. Because people are busy, they don't have time to read this much. They will read this, they will read 3 phrases. So you have 3 phrases to send your message. And you will write to at least 5 people inside each one of your companies, the companies in your list. At least 5. If you can find 10 people that you would like to connect with, write to 10. Because in terms of probability, for every 10 people that you reach out to, 1 will answer you. So don't feel discouraged if someone don't answer to you, because people are busy and you are asking them for a favor. So not everybody has time to give you. I consider myself a very good responder, and I have people waiting for me for months now because I have been very, very busy. So I don't have much time to spend to give 30 minutes of my time for people. And it's not that I'm not interested or I don't think that they would be great connections for me. It's because the moment that I'm on right now. So give people the benefit of the doubt and reach out to more people. Reach out, reach out, reach out. Connect with people. Connect. Even people who could be your bosses in those companies. Try, connect. And you will book, you will try to book coffee chats, right? So that is our point number 8, connect with people. Moving to point number 9. Point number 9 is prepare for the coffee chats. It's not just a matter of booking them. When someone accepts talking with you, you need to be prepared. And by prepared, I mean 2 things. First, have your elevator speech ready. Your elevator speech has to be tops 30 seconds. Who you are. I'm Deborah. I'm a learning and development professional, and I'm working on retail. I can put more details there, but that is the phrase that I need to start with. I cannot start with anything else because that's what people will remember you about. So you need a very good first phrase, who you are. And remember, you will say the name of the job that you want, not what you are doing right now. And I didn't say at any point, I'm working as a learning and development. No, I'm a learning and development professional. I could say I'm a learning and development manager. Why I'm not saying I'm a learning and development manager? Because I'm already working to get my new position as a learning and development director. So I stopped using manager in my presentation because now I'm aiming at director. And for me to do that step up, I need to stop calling myself manager. I'm preaching you this stuff, but I also do that stuff for myself. So it's an ongoing thing. You'll do that for the rest of your career. It's not a one and done. You'll keep every time that you want to change, that you want to progress, you'll do exactly the same kind of stuff. So you will prepare your elevator pitch and you will prepare your questions. So what are you asking this person? They are giving you 15 minutes, 20 minutes of their life, maybe even half an hour of their life. So have good questions. You can ask about their life, about their position, you can ask about the company, but have good questions. Tell me about yourself, it's not a good question. Be specific. Ask specifically what you want to know. Because the more specific you are, the more prepared you will show to that person that you are not wasting their time. So prepare well your questions. That will cause a very good first impression with the people that are connecting with you through coffee chats. And they will feel like their time is not being wasted. After that first coffee chat, what you do, you keep in touch. You ask for advice, suggestions, people that you should meet or people that would be good for you to know. You can ask about more details for the company or whatever it is, you find a way, you connect with that person on LinkedIn, but now you already met them in person. So if you reach out to them through LinkedIn, will not be like that message that is coming from outer space in your inbox. People know who you are. So the tendency is that they will answer to you. So that is the 10th point in our list of 12 is keep in touch. And you can keep in touch asking for suggestions. You can keep in touch telling your news. You can keep in touch in many, many different ways. So are you going to keep in touch with everybody? No, you will keep in touch with those people that answer better to you, that you connect in some level that you feel like a click. Oh, this person really has something, that is valuable, or our conversation was so good. So cherish those connections. They will help you along the way. 11th point, only 2 to go. And finally, I have to say, monitor openings on those target companies. Finally, we are looking for job openings. How do we monitor openings on the target companies? We look at the company website more than LinkedIn or Indeed. Companies medium size to big size, they will have a careers page that will have all the job openings there. So monitor that page. Don't trust LinkedIn, don't trust Indeed. If you monitor that correctly, you will be able to apply 1 or 2 days tops after the job is open. And for many positions, if you apply after 4 or 5 days, 1 week, you are out of the game already because they already received many applications. And the tendency is that people will not look at those applications that are coming later on. Unless they don't have candidates, like they have very poor candidates, they will look at applications coming later on. But most of the candidates that will be considered were from applications that arrived in the first, second day. So monitor the career pages of your top companies, target companies, and apply as soon as you can. As soon as you see the job, apply for that job. Finally, last point. Last point is increase your value. And what do I mean by increase your value? Consider things that you can do that will turn you a better candidate for the type of job that you want. So what is it? It's a course that you need to do. It's some volunteering work. It's participation in events. What is it? I don't know. You have to figure that out based on what is the job that you want. So for example, I want a job that it will require me to connect a lot with different customers or different stakeholders inside the company. I'm not very confident about my English, for example. So you can enroll in Toastmasters, you can participate in events, you can do a lot of stuff that will increase your confidence in speaking in public. If it is a technical thing. For example, oh, it would be better if I also knew Python. Do a Python course. Whatever it is that you think will put you closer to the job that you want, do that. Invest in yourself. Increase your bet. If you bet higher, you will be participating much further along in those selection processes. So make yourself a better candidate. Invest in yourself and make yourself a better candidate. Okay, those were my 12 points for job search. So I will give you now the opportunity to ask questions. You can go to the chat and ask, or you can open your mic and ask. So hit me, whatever you want to know.
Thank you, Deborah. Please don't be shy. If you don't want to ask your question, you can just type it and take advantage of her willingness to support. If you have a specific question about branding or rebranding after a career change, you have something that you would like her to analyze on your specific case, please, this is the time. We have 3 more minutes. And maybe while you think of that, we can do the group pictures, please, Deiri. So as you know, every week we take a picture from everyone that's attending live. So if you are comfortable doing so, please open up your cameras and we will be taking your group picture while you let your shyness and ask your questions. Thank you.
Come on, you can ask whatever it is. I don't bite.
We have now one in the chat.
Oh, I didn't see it, sorry. I have been a bartender for more than 10 years, and I have been wondering what would be your personal opinion on how easy, hard would it be to change to an IT job? Okay, IT is very, very broad, so depends on what in IT, right? We have areas in IT that are very high demand, so the more specialized you are, the easier it will be. I don't know if you have been studying IT during those 10 years, if you're thinking about starting now, but I would say if you are in a very specialized IT skill set, it's not hard at all. I would suggest first complete all the courses and things that you need to do in order to move that. Cybersecurity. Okay, I know people from cybersecurity. So cybersecurity, first thing that you need to do is complete all the courses and certifications, etc. in cybersecurity. And then I would suggest put together a portfolio. You can put together a portfolio. There are platforms online that allow you to publish, for example, pieces of code or other things like that. So even if you never worked on cybersecurity, you can put together a portfolio to present to a company. So you can present ideas, you can present code. If you do code also, you can start interacting in groups that do cybersecurity, commenting in posts of people that do cybersecurity. So start to make yourself known in that community because it's a not very big community. I had one mentee that went to work as cybersecurity specialist, I think, for Pricewaterhouse. And his path was exactly like that. He built his brand through LinkedIn, talking with people until he got an interview in the company, and it's been there for a few years now. So it's not about you have been a bartender for 10 years. It's about how knowledgeable you show that you are. That's a big thing in cybersecurity, and having all the certifications or denominations or stuff like that, that I know that there is a bunch of different courses that you do for different platforms, different things. So you have to, you need to have those things.
Yes, Victor, thank you.
Hello, Deborah. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have more than 10 years of experience in the IT sector in Mexico. However, well, I came here as a student in computer programming. However, I think without Canadian experience, it's hard for me to find a job. So what I can do, like to show or to try to, well, to get interviews, because I didn't have any interview yet, to show what I can do. Because I know I trust in myself and I know that I have the experience. However, I don't know how to show in a resume, or I don't know what I need to do.
Sure, please be more specific about your experience. Exactly what?
Okay, I have experience as project manager, but I'm transitioning to be a data analyst. Also, I have experience as data analyst. But
Okay, so
Mhm.
if you want to position yourself as a data analyst, you have to
Yes.
start there. You have to start saying, I'm data analyst. And then I would say, put together a portfolio. So your LinkedIn, you can use there, you can write stuff, you can show stuff. So I would, for example, grab data from Statistics Canada. Statistics Canada opens tons of data about different things. So, for example, go to Statistics Canada, grab data about whatever it is. It is Latin America Heritage Month now. So, how many Latin Americans we have in Canada in different provinces, and how is their education related to the education of average Canadian, whatever it is, show that you can extract that data and you can present that data in a way that is very approachable, that is nice. Because nowadays, data analysis is not only knowing how to read the data, but also knowing how to present the data. That is a very good asset to have. So show that you can do that. Put as a portfolio on your LinkedIn so people can see that.
Okay.
And then start to connect with people that work in those positions in different companies, especially in the industry that you would like to work for. So let's say you want to work as data analyst for retail, and I will use Walmart as an example. In retail, what is the money in terms of data analysis? It's to understand customers. So I would spend a lot of time showing that I can understand customers, I can predict customer behavior using data analysis, for example. If I'm working in data analysis for a construction company, my approach would be completely different, would be related to cost and risk and maybe waste management or something like that. So think about what is the niche that you want to approach and prepare a portfolio focused on that niche. Go for your 10 companies that you really want to work for and start to connect with people in those companies. If you do your portfolio align with what you want to do and with those companies, you can start speaking with people on their language. You will be speaking what they want to hear, and there will be a connection almost immediately, because if you go and talk about, for example, customer behavior with anyone in data analysis at Walmart, they will engage with you for an hour talking about, because that's their bread and butter. So that's the kind of thing that you have to prepare yourself to, as I said before, fake it until you make it. You have to start to be in that position, even if you are not yet on that position.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes, a lot of sense. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Deborah,
Okay.
just 1 second, because we are at time, and if you don't mind, we have still 2 more questions, but for anyone that needs to leave right now, we are still recording. Deborah will answer these 2 questions, and thank you for everyone. If you need to leave, we will continue now. Thank you, Deborah.
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect comment. Yes. And if we have more than 2 questions, I will keep answering, but everybody that wants to go, I know it's for many, it's dinner time. So thank you so much for being here today with me. For those that have to go, connect with me on LinkedIn, please. Send me a request. I will gladly accept. It's my pleasure. If you want to chat more with me, let me know. As I mentioned, I don't have a lot of time right now, but I try to squeeze a few moments, especially if it is a question that I can answer in written, I will do that for sure. And before I forget, Citlali, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's amazing. I love coming here every year. So back to the questions. Deborah, I am an IT project manager with focus in risk management. Great. 10 years in traditional and agile methodologies. I have been looking for a job opportunity in that position in Canada for 3 years without success. I have been recommended to look for a position as project assistant or project coordinator. What is your recommendation? Would it be better to study another subject? No, don't go for another subject, Marina. I would go for project coordinator, yes, because you still don't have that IT project manager experience in Canada. So that can be a little bit, what I talked about a strategy before. I would go one step down to project coordinator, but then you can put in your resume project coordinator for an IT project, especially if you can go for something that is related to risk management, even better. And then you can circle back to project manager. I would say in a timeline of 1 year, tops 1.5 years, you can be back to project manager. That is just a one step down to be able to get there again. And you don't have to hide that you used to be a project manager. You can tell people very frankly, since I moved to Canada, I'm readapting to the country. So I think that would be better for me. See how we tell stories. It would be better for me to restart here as a project coordinator. That way I can understand better the field. I can understand better the relationship between people, and I will be able to go back to be a project manager in the future. But now what I'm looking for is a project coordinator position. And that way you present yourself very positively. It's like it's intentional. You are not doing this because nobody gives me a job as a project manager, so I am settling for project coordinator. No, I'm choosing to apply as project coordinator because I think that is what makes more sense to me at this point in Canada. Go for it. You'll get it.
Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Sorry, we have Fred's hand up, but I think you skipped Lydia Benitez's question before Marina.
Probably.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm looking forward to transition from hospitality and tourism to admin position. Do you offer private mentor sessions? Yes, I offer private mentor sessions. My problem is time right now, but yes, connect with me through LinkedIn. Ask me for a conversation. Probably I'll bump you a few weeks ahead in time. I have to be honest here. I'm really struggling with my agenda right now. I'm being kind of busy. It's not to brag about this. I don't like it, but it's how it is. In my team at Walmart, we are also hiring people at this precise moment. So we are with extra work because we have an opening. So all that comes together. But yes, and I would say that transitioning from tourism, hospitality to admin, not a big transition. It's like very close. So it's not a big deal to do that transition. Completely doable. So don't worry about that. You for sure can do that. For absolutely sure you can do that.
Thank you, Deborah.
I want to answer if you have a gap, how you deal with it. Don't hide your gap. You have to explain your gap. So you can say things like, I use this time to better prepare myself to look for a job in Canada. I was settling my family in Canada, and now I'm ready to get back to the job market. If you were not working, if you were working in another area, you say, oh, I spent some time working directly at customer experience because I wanted to understand Canadians. I want to understand the culture here before I go for a job as project manager, whatever it is, you can tell your story in a way that is positive and that makes sense. So never hide your gap, just find a way to explain your gap. I was not finding jobs when I came to Canada. It was very frustrating for me. And I went back to York University to do a certificate there. And after that, after I understood, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing wrong, I used to present myself that way. Oh, I came to Canada, and instead of going looking for a job, I decided to go first for a certification because I wanted to understand the Canadian culture. I wanted to understand the Canadian job market before applying for jobs. And people thought that was a perfect explanation. Nobody will tell you, you are lying to me, you sneaky. No, they go for it. If your explanation is clear, direct, people will believe it. And I'm not saying for you to lie, just find a way to explain your story in a way that makes sense. Sometimes it's because you were, as I said, settling your family. I came here with 2 kids, a husband. I had to find schools for them. I had to help them adapt, new language, etc. Now I'm ready to get back to the job market. And that's okay. That's your explanation for your gap. Any more questions?
Yeah, we have Fritz. Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, thanks for self-identifying as autistic. It was very a big thing for me
Oh,
because I got my diagnosis last year. I lived most of my life just figuring it out and wondering what to do and
yeah. And
just
what is wrong with me?
I'd feel really overwhelmed and really smart and really stupid. So it would all and now I used to be intensely focused with work, but I've had a 5-year gap now, recovering from an accident. I've been trying to also build skills. So just kind of returning back. Also, the way I'm going to work is going to be different. I know to support myself better, but also in order to maintain my health, I won't be able to give the kind of focus that my friends and family would call as workaholic, which I did not agree. I really loved what I was doing. Um, my plan so far is just to do a sort of staggered approach where I take forgiving and learning environments like an internship, volunteering. And
That's exactly my suggestion. Start with volunteering. Volunteering will be your way to circle back to the job market.
and something hybrid because I would be able to adjust, I think, better to a hybrid situation and something that gives me more the lifestyle with more time to be flexible, but also does not have a lot of demands on my after hours. I feel like I'm asking for so much, and it's
Don't. It's, everything is a matter of understanding what you want and understanding what that entails. So probably you won't have a pay band of $50 an hour. It will be less than that. But then you have your quality of life, So understand that and go for it. Once you understand what you want, go for it. Every single type of job has pros and cons. There's no job that is only pros and no job that is only cons, because that job would never exist. There is always a bright side and a not so bright side. So pick. And my suggestion, because you said it's been 5 years, go for volunteering. Most of the volunteering openings requires you 6 hours a week. It's a very good way to start, because you can ramp up after that. So start with 6 hours a week, and then you can little by little increase that and find something that is comfortable for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a follow-up question. Are there
Yes.
organizations, virtual or in person, where people on the spectrum meet to kind of, just discuss related to interviews or related to just managing communication?
Never saw, I participate in a few groups, but never saw one dedicated directly to, like job searching, something like that. But there are many groups on Facebook of people in the spectrum that like support each other.
Oh,
So-
yes, I'm part of a few. Yes.
Yeah, that to me is a very useful resource.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it. No more questions.
I think
Oh my
we're
God.
done. It's 7:17, and you also need your dinner, Deborah. Thank you so much. We do appreciate your time, and this is the second year you gladly and supporting us in the mentorship program. I already shared your LinkedIn with everyone, and according to your teachings today, they should be reaching out to you with your suggestions. We will
Perfect.
also share a summary of what Deborah discussed today. It will not be a pretty, it will just be listing whatever she told us tonight. It's very brilliant advice, and I appreciate your time tonight, Deborah. We thank you.
Thank you all so much for listening. And yeah, reach out. It will be my pleasure. We can exchange messages. And when things get a little bit more calm on my side, we can even connect and have a coffee chat. So that will be amazing. I love meeting new people. I love doing network. That's something that I had to learn in Canada. I used to hate it. And when I changed my view on it, instead of looking for, oh my God, I'm forced to talk with someone that I never speak before, that sounds so awkward. I thought, oh, there is people that are willing to share a little bit of their life with me, and I will learn with them. When I changed this vision, to me, everything changed about networking. So nowadays I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. So reach out. It will be my pleasure. And thanks every single one of you. Even the little girl that I'm looking. Yeah, Lydia, I was looking at your little girl there. She's amazing. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.